Matt Morris here. Welcome to the broadcast. Excited to be sharing with you guys how to never run out of leads by playing a game. We'll talk about the game here in just a second. So as you guys are hopping on, let me know where you're tuning in from in the comments. Give me your city, state, country. And if you're watching this live, drop me a live in the comments. If you're watching it on the replay, drop me a replay. If you're seeing me for the first time on a live broadcast, drop me a 1 in the comments so I can welcome you. I appreciate the likes and the hearts. If you do happen to share this and add some value to some others, then definitely let me know that you shared it so I can give you a shout out. So I see we got Cyprus and Estonia and Puerto Rico in the house, Victoria, Texas in the house, rock and roll. So appreciate you guys tuning in. And let's talk about never running out of leads. So this is something that if there's one thing that I'm amazingly grateful for in network marketing, it's that I adopted the philosophy that I'm about to share with you. And I can directly count millions of dollars because of what I'm about to share with you. Okay. And I run across this all the time, and people get into desperation mode. Like, oh my God, I don't have anyone to talk to. So how can I generate leads like this? And so if you get to the point where you are out of leads, you definitely have not adopted the philosophy that I'm about to teach you. And the philosophy is this. It is playing the game that you want to play is the long game. You want to play the long game in network marketing. And so what happens in most cases is we have a short-term mentality. We overestimate what we can do in a short amount of time, but we grossly underestimate what we can do over a long period of time. Okay. So it's kind of like this. People get into network marketing and they're not really professionals. They're not thinking about 10 years from now. They're not thinking about 20 years from now. They're playing the short game. And because they're playing the short game, they have this massive sense of urgency. And there's nothing wrong with a sense of urgency unless the sense of urgency is tied to scarcity. Okay. Let me say that again, because that may have gone over, right? So there's nothing wrong with a sense of urgency unless the sense of urgency is tied to a sense of scarcity. Okay. And so what I'm talking about is not having the scarcity model of like, if I don't get people in right now, I'm screwed. Okay. So yes, you want to have an abundance of leads. When you first get started, you want to run hard. You want to talk to everyone. You want to run through your contacts. You want to do all that. But here's what I've done over the last, when did I start this? I started this probably 18 years ago when I decided to be a professional in network marketing. What happened was I decided network marketing was going to be my career. Okay. Decided it was going to be my career, which meant it's what I'm going to do for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years of my life. Okay. The reason why many people fail in network marketing is because they're playing the short game. And when you play the short game, you're not looking at long term, and you leave a fortune on the table because of that scarcity. It's like, if I don't get people in now, it's never going to work. And I'm going to have to go a little bit rapid on this because I've got my daughter that got their last days of school here. And so I'm going to have to hop off to a party. So I want to summarize this really. And here's the whole point is when you play the long game and you use this philosophy, the philosophy is you always want to be meeting people and adding to your funnel. And I just heard someone talking about an ATM. It's like we have an ATM in network marketing. And when you get people into the ATM, that is your contacts. So if you look at your contacts in your cell phone, that's like an ATM. Now you've got to have the right debit card and you got to have the right PIN code to pull the money out. Pulling the money out means enrolling them in buying your products or services, right? Or sponsoring them into the business. But what happens is the reason why most people can't pull any money from the ATM is because they don't have any money in the ATM. The money is in the contacts. The money is in the relationships. And so what I decided about 18 years ago is I'm going to get ridiculously good at adding people to my ATM. I didn't have that analogy back then, but adding people to my database. Now, if you look at my contacts today, and I were to scroll through my contacts, I mean, there are thousands of names, and these are not like imported from my downline. It's not imported from a list. These are thousands of people that I've met over the last 18 years. And what I started doing 18 years ago is whenever I added someone to my database, I would create a note and I would put a note, talk to them on this date. We talked about this, okay? I met them here. And what's happened over the years is because I've been keeping this database, I've got this ATM filled with money. Now I got to get the money out, meaning I got to invite them, I got to pitch them, present my products or services, sponsor them into the business, all that. I got to like put the debit card in and do the PIN code and pull it out. But I've got a ton of money sitting in the ATM because I have a ton of relationships, because 18 years ago, I decided everyone that I met, I was going to put them into my database and build a relationship. And then what would happen over the years is there are people who I put in my database many, many years ago, and it took me 10 years to sponsor them. So that's playing the long game. And as you develop more skills in network marketing, as you develop a story in network marketing, there's going to be a lot of the people that you weren't able to sponsor years ago that once you've established some success, you have some proof, you'll be able to sponsor them later. But you'll never sponsor them later if you have the scarcity mentality of, if I don't get them now, I'm not going to get them later. And so you throw away business cards, you throw away leads, you delete them from your phone. And so when I decided to be conscious of this, it's like, man, I need to put a lot of contacts in here. I got to fill up my ATM with relationships, because relationships is always the money in network marketing. So whenever I went to any event, networking events or personal development events, I made a conscious effort to go meet people, not to pitch them immediately on my opportunity, but to meet them. And so I'd carry business cards, and I always had a fun goal. It's like, if there's 100 people at an event, I'm going to create a goal of getting a business card from 20% of the people. Okay. And so I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of business cards of people that I've met. And typically, on the back of the card and things like that, I'll write, how I met them. Okay. Met at Tony Robbins. Okay. So when I'm writing that, obviously it's much better to convert that to your digital phone, your contacts. Then when you call them, whether it's immediately afterwards or it's 2 years later, you can remember, hey, we talked on this, we talked about this. I remember you being a really sharp person. And because I've done this consistently for so many years, if I am like in a rush, there's a contest going on, a promotion, and I need to sponsor 4 people this month, I can easily sponsor 4 people because I filled up my ATM over the last 18 years with lots of contacts. And so I'm never in scarcity mode when it comes to recruiting or, selling my products or services, because I've established this. Now, obviously it's going to work way better if you stay in contact with people, if you, drip on them, reach out from time to time and strengthen the relationship, because as someone forgets you, they kind of fall out of your ATM and it becomes a lot harder to sponsor them. You still can. I remember getting into sponsoring mode, calling someone, and I was like, hey, John, it's Matt. Listen, I don't know if you remember me, but we met a few years ago. I remember you being a really sharp guy, and I just wanted to see if you're open-minded to looking at something else. And the guy had no idea who I was, but he was open to looking because it was just the right timing. The thing is, if I hadn't been doing this over the years, then I don't have any money in my ATM. Okay, your phone is an ATM. You got to extract the money out, but you need to be loading it up. So play the long game. Make a concerted effort now, today, that you're going to load up your ATM with lots and lots of relationships. And if they don't join you now, it's okay, because a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, the timing may be better. And if you're a pro, if this is your career, it's okay if it takes you 10 years to sponsor someone. You're going to sponsor a lot of other people along the way, but because you're building this amazing database of relationships, of contacts, you never have to be in scarcity mode. And so that's my suggestion to you is decide you're going to play the long game, decide you're going to be a pro, decide this is what you're going to be doing for the next 20, 30, 40 years. This is your career, and start loading it up. Make a concerted effort when you're out and about, meet people. Don't worry about sponsoring them. What happens in the cold market, world, people get there's so much pressure that I have to sponsor this person that you don't even ask for their number. You're like, it's this pressure thing. No, just make friends. Just get, business cards. Just exchange info. And don't put all that pressure on you initially. If you're not going to get the number anyway because of the pressure, just get it, right? And then once you get good at getting phone numbers, getting business cards, then you can become more comfortable on actually calling them, inviting them, pitching them, and prospecting and sorting through. So anyway, listen, I hope this added a ton of value. If you feel like it can add some value to some others, definitely hit the share button. If you want some advanced strategies on becoming a powerful leader, recruiting powerful leaders, creating real time and money freedom, hop over to leadwithmatt.com. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in. I am headed to school to go do an end of the year party with my daughter. Love you guys. Thanks so much.